Hello everyone, and welcome back to CLAUDINE'S Empire. If you are just tuning into this empire for your first time, you are most definitely welcome. So on today's episode, we have a special theme to discuss about which henceforth we are going to be carrying over, and we theme it matters of the heart. So have you ever had an issue with relationships? Have you ever had challenge in dealing with your partner in a relationship? Are you facing any challenge in your relationship currently? Then you have nothing to bother about right now, because we are bringing forth to you matters of the heart, where we are going to be discussing a lot of issues in regards to relationship, love issues, and everything that has to do with relationship. And we are going to be inviting some very special people who are very experienced in this domain. So ladies and gentlemen, on today's episode, we have a very special guest with us in our midst, who is going to be giving us all the roots and all the details involved in matters of the heart. So this person is someone I hold very dear to my heart. Is someone who has gotten PhD in psychology and in counseling relationships. He has over 7 years of dealing with relationships. So he's a relationship therapist. So if you have any questions, you can leave it down in the comment section, and he will be able to see you through with your relationship. He's a great counselor. He has been counseling many other people. And today we are so privileged to have him in our channel today. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you no other person but Chief Donald. Give it up for him as he makes his way to the stadium. Woo!
Very much. I'm so glad to be here.
Glad to have you in the
Really,
please.
it's really a pleasure. I've heard a lot of things about your show.
Yes, so we are most happy to have you in CLAUDINE'S Empire on our Matters of the Heart talk show today.
And I'm definitely glad to be here as well. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Yes, and a lot of people out there has been very excited to hear from you regarding matters of the heart, as they hold you so much in high esteem, especially considering the fact that you have many years of experience, and we can't wait for you to pour it out to the fans out there who are expectantly ready to hear from you. So ladies and gentlemen, we have Chief Donald already with us, and I can't wait for us to jump right into the matters of the heart. We will be right back. Stay tuned. You're most welcome again once more to CLAUDINE'S Empire and to Matters of the Heart.
Thank you very much.
I'm really glad that you were able to make it to our talk show today.
Yeah, and it has really been a very tight schedule for me. You know what I'm doing now. I'm counseling.
You're a very busy person.
Yeah, I got a lot of people that are holding up to me. See. So I just left my office right now, just rushing to come here because I got an invitation from you.
Thank you so much.
To be honest, I'm really glad that you did invited me, and I'm really pleased to be here.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Donald. So right now we are moving forward to Matters of the Heart, which my fans are expectantly waiting to hear you talk and speak some sense into them, especially when it comes to a relationship. So what exactly can you tell my fans about Matters of the Heart? What is it all about, by the way? They are getting to see this for the first time because it's a new talk show, but I brought you to be the one to broadcast it to them live and direct, since I know you have a lot of experience in this. So split it out.
Now, when we are talking about Matters of the Heart, okay, you guys have to understand. Now, we are talking regarding every instances and every aspect of a relationship. Okay, from when you just you're thinking about getting into a relationship, until when you actually get into the relationship, until when you decide to stay into the relationship, until when maybe you both decide to make a move. Now, we are not only focusing on the single people, we are also going to be focusing on the people who are already into marriage, okay? Now, because I have had a lot of clients who were facing a lot of difficulties in their marriage, and they came to me and they explained to me, and I saw that they were the various things or the various issues they were having were very minute minor issues which can easily be handled.
Very common.
Yeah, very
common.
Yeah, just little things. So a lot of people are facing such little things in their relationships and in their marriages, and that is what I am here to throw more light on.
Amazing.
And believe me, before we end or after we end or throughout the show, you're going to be learning a lot about how to be in a relationship, not only be, how to keep it and how to maintain it until you get to the next stage.
Wow.
Why not marriage?
Amazing. So then we are going to have a lot of things to talk about on this talk show. From getting into a relationship to staying in the relationship, keeping it, and why not leading to marriage. And of course, this wouldn't be happening if there is no challenges, and how you're going to overcome those challenges to keep your marriage.
That's right.
So starting from getting into the relationship, we want to hear a lot of things from you. What do you think are the basic necessities of getting into a relationship? So we know from there what kind of relationships we are getting into. What can you emphasize on that?
Now, there's these things that a lot of people do. These mistakes a lot of people do when they are about to maybe get into a relationship. And what they fail to understand is that getting into a relationship is an altogether serious issue. Now, it concerns the matter of the heart. Okay, it concerns the matter of the heart. Yeah. Now, you cannot tell me that I want to get into a relationship because you feel like your friends are getting into a relationship. It is something that before you get into it, you have to make up your mind. Your consciousness and subconsciousness have to agree, okay, with your heart before you get into it. Meaning, you have to be all together ready. So, first thing first, as a young person, or as a young girl or a young man, who have married and maybe wants to get into a serious relationship, because here I'm going to be talking about emphasizing about serious relationships. Yeah, because I don't entertain people who go into relationship because of trying and error. Okay. Now again, I will emphasize that it's called the matters of the heart. It's something that has to do with the heart. I've seen and heard a lot of people being killed because they played with your heart, okay, in relationships. So it's a very serious issue, and that you have to really consider before getting into it. Now, first I'm going to be talking about men first. Then after we are going to be shifting about what should a young lady do before getting into a relationship. Okay, we'll start with men. For example, as a young man, you cannot get into a relationship as a man when you've not yet graduated from being a boy to the man. Now, listen, boys don't get into a relationship that men do. Okay? But then you have to also understand that in order to get into a relationship or consider getting into a relationship as a man, you should have something doing. Like you should have a supporting,
a steady source of income.
Yeah, a supporting item that will help you to take proper care of the lady you're going to be in the relationship.
That's right.
Okay, now ladies have been known to be demanding. Now, us men, we have to understand that it's in a lady's characteristics to be demanding. Okay, it's not because they are bad gender, but it's just because that's how they were created to be. Right from the Garden of Eden, you discover that Eve was demanding. But there was never a day that we saw, never an instant that we saw in the Bible, that Adam got mad to Eve because Eve was about demanding. Because Adam understood the nature of a woman.
That's right.
Okay? So as men, we have to understand women that before we say, can you be something to me, you should be able to back it with a source of income. You should be able to take care of all her demands. Okay? Now, leaving that aside, okay? Now, no man should get into any relationship without first of all having somebody, a higher authority, like a higher power that he looks up to. Like for example, you cannot get into a relationship as a man without committing yourself fully to God. I'm not being spiritual, okay? But one of the reasons why a lot of relationships fail is because they started it in the wrong path. Meaning they started it with the absence of the person that actually created relationship. Okay, that's a lot of mistakes a lot of men or young men nowadays they do, right? And which leads to a lot of break hearts and a lot of misunderstanding in a lot of marriages and relationships, right? So men, as I said, you have to have a source of income, okay? Because women are very demanding, and it's in their nature to be demanding. You have to understand that a woman will always demand. Therefore, you have to have a steady source of income in order to fully entertain all her demand. Point more light on what I've just said. When you discover that when God created a man, okay, the first thing that God gave man was not a woman. Okay, first God gave man a job.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Bible clearly says that, and God asked Adam to cultivate. Okay, meaning Adam was fit enough to be able to accommodate another person.
That's
okay.
Right.
Then when God discovered that he was fit, he had everything, he was wealthy, but he was lacking something. Now let me create a helper that can assist him, okay, in meeting his objectives. That's why, and the Bible says, and God says, and God created a woman, okay, to act as a helper to Adam. Okay.
Right.
Now, in the true nature of a woman, women were not allowed to work. Okay. If you take us right back in the Old Testament, you discover that the men did all the work, and the women just sat in the house, okay, doing being a helper, okay, to their husband, waiting for their husband to come, and there it was never a problem. Okay, but then I'm not trying to say that as a lady you're not supposed to work. Okay, that was in the past. Now we are in the 21st century and things are updated. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm just trying to explain the scenario that in order to be a man, okay, who is ready for a relationship, you have to have something doing that will give you a steady source of income to be able to take care of the lady you're proposing a relationship to.
Definitely. So how about this? There is this quote like they are looking for a perfect man to be in a relationship with, because some people believe like maybe the relationship is failing because the guy is not perfect, or what do you have to say? Like, is it supposed to be two perfect people being in a relationship? Is the guy supposed to be perfect before coming into a relationship, or the lady being perfect before being in a relationship?
Yeah, that's a lot of questions that I get in my domain of duty. Now, people think that their partners must be perfect. Now, I want to make you guys understand that there is nothing in this earth like a perfect relationship.
Yeah.
Now, a relationship is simply two imperfect people coming together to learn how to coexist, to learn how to manage their weaknesses, to learn how to accept themselves as they are. Okay, meaning two imperfect people coming together to become perfect.
That's right.
Okay, now there is no perfect man and there is no perfect woman. That perfect man and that perfect woman that people always think exists is only in their imagination.
Exactly.
Okay, we don't have such in this planet Earth.
So, okay, what would you say about a lady? You made mention that a man needs to have a job first, like Adam he had a job before God brought a lady into his life. So the lady coming to Adam's life, what is the expectation, or what is that help that she needs to render? Like, I've not been in a relationship and I'm wondering, like, me being into this relationship, what do I need to do in his life? What is my position, or what do I have to be doing while in the relationship? What can you say about that?
Yeah, as a lady, a young lady, okay, just like men, okay, in order for a young lady to get into a relationship, also you have to make sure you're ready. As we are saying, as we said right from the beginning, it's concerns a matter of the heart. And I've literally witnessed people being killed because of this same issue. Yeah. Because some people toy with their heart, which is a very bad thing to do. Right? Now, if you're a young lady who is aspiring, who is ready, okay, who wants to be, who is ready to mingle, okay, who wants to be in a relationship, first, you have to understand that you're going to that relationship to act as a helper to that man. Okay, it doesn't matter if that you're married or no. Okay, now some people get into a relationship. Normally, the only purpose for anyone to get into a relationship, it should be at an objective of marriage, right? So, as a young man or as a young woman getting into a relationship, you have to understand that you're going there to help. Okay, to help the guy achieve his dream. Okay, because when the guy is achieving his dream, you also are achieving your dream. Okay, you have to help the guy achieve his objective. Remember, the man is the head no matter what. Okay, no matter if you're earning more than the man, it doesn't erase the fact that the man remains the head. And you have to totally be submissive and be respectful to that man, no matter his age. Okay.
Because some ladies, they have this notion maybe they are going into a relationship to have fun, so you meet a man that is just going to be pampering, just enjoy life, but they ignore this aspect of fulfilling, helping the man to fulfill purpose, or helping him. They face like a challenge, or maybe because the guy is not opening up to them. Because some ladies, they don't even know what is the purpose of their partner. If you ask some people that are already in the relationship, so how do they get to know where to fit into their partner's life to help them fulfill purpose?
Yeah, that's why communication in a relationship matters a lot.
That's it.
Okay, it matters a lot.
True.
Right? So, if you, as a young lady, you have accepted to be part of somebody's life, okay, you should also be able to accept who he is, his weaknesses, and everything that has to do with him. Like as I said earlier, it's about two imperfect people coming together to make themselves perfect. Okay. Now, coming to a relationship, you should be able to identify what the guy is doing, what are his visions, what are his dreams, what is his God-given purpose and personal purposes. Okay, and then you should be able to identify yourself in those purposes or those objectives of his. Because the reason why a lot of relationships fail is that when they get into the relationship, especially when they got into it without being fully ready or fully committed, okay, now they tend to realize in the relationship that they are not compatible. Why? Reason being that most of the ladies discover that their purposes or their objectives, okay, or the reason for which they got into the relationship, okay, was not there anymore. Exactly. Okay, so and that has caused a lot of broken relationships. Right. So you should be able, as a woman, before even saying yes to a guy, you should be able to be with him for some time, just like friends. Okay, try to identify his objectives, his visions, and purposes. See if see if you can comfortably accept and live with it. Okay, and follow him just as he will be leading you. Okay, now if you're able to identify yourself in such objectives and you're ready to take his weaknesses, his bad sides more than his good side, okay, because get into a relationship, expect some things which you had never seen in that man when you guys were just friends. Okay, now you'll be living with him, or maybe you'll be seeing him often, and you'll discover that you start seeing things that you never thought he had. So entering into a relationship as a young lady, you should be ready to take and accept all his negative aspects. So it's very, very important. As a young lady, you have to make up your mind, because some guys, believe me, they are very nasty. Not that they are bad people, but it's just like that. It's the nature of a man.
You're very correct. Just like you mentioned about two imperfect people coming together. If I understood you very well, it's just like saying you're coming into his life is to be able to complement him in the area of his weakness.
Correct.
So where he is weak, you have to be the stronger person, and where you are weak, he's also going to be the one to lift you up. You complement each other. If you discover that there is no balance, like both of you are just falling apart, or his direction, you're going this way and he's going this way, and nobody is able to match it up, There is no need for the relationship. If he's going north and you're going south, and at the end of the day there is no meeting point, his visions are not in line, your visions are not in line.
Definitely that relationship will fail.
It cannot work. Like he cannot support you. You cannot be able to support him as well. What he does, you're not able to fit in. So that way you see that the relationship cannot work. So I've heard like many relationship therapists and even many preachers saying if you want to get into a relationship with a guy, get into a relationship with someone who is your best friend, because you know everything about him, you know his bad side, you know his good side. Well, my question now is, what about those that are not best of friends? Maybe there are some people that just their first meeting, you can't stand the sight of this other person, you can't stand the sight of each other. Like, it's the kind of hatred. When you see him, you feel some hatred for the person. Can those two ever be in a relationship, or eventually can it ever work out?
Now, the fact that you're a best friend or a bestie, how some people call it now, to somebody doesn't qualify you being in a relationship with that person.
True.
Okay, it's something that
people are better off just as
it's something that I want to clear.
Yeah.
Okay, off my mind, because I've been having this stuff for a while now. Because some people believe that when they get into a relationship with their best friend, it can likely work. But I will tell you this: I've seen a lot of people, a lot of best friends, okay, who thought they were compatible until they got engaged into a relationship.
That's right.
And there they discovered that they wanted totally different things.
True.
Right? So don't use that as a criteria of jumping into a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, talking about two people who can stand the sense of each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I should understand you, you are asking is it possible for these people
to actually love each other,
to be in a relationship, or to learn how to coexist in a relationship?
Exactly.
Of course, it's possible. It's not because I have heard it. Okay, I've seen it with my physical eyes. Okay, I've received a lot of couples who said before they started, they never wanted to stand each other. They hated each other with passion, and finally, finally when they realized that the hatred instead pulls them together rather than pulling them apart. Okay. Now there's this statement that I always tell my clients, that you can never hate what you like.
That's right.
You can never hate what you like.
Yeah.
And I speak from experience. Okay, I've seen friends, okay, who hated each other, but now they are best of couples. Okay, so never you use the criteria of your best friend because he is your best friend, or because she is your best friend, she's qualified to be in a relationship with you. I'm not saying that it cannot work like in general.
Yeah.
Just in some cases it might work,
yeah.
but in so many cases it fails.
True.
It fails drastically. So don't use that. If you're trying to get into a relationship and you have a bestie and you're thinking of going that way, make sure that you actually love that person and that person loves you back. And also make sure that you're ready to take anything that comes. Because you are blinded by friendship love until you get into the real love.
Into the relationship. That's right.
So don't use that as a criteria. And as I said, you cannot hate what you like.
So my ladies,
it's not possible.
That guy that you feel like you can't stand his side, just watch out. It might be love on the second thought.
Yeah.
Like it's actually love, but you cannot express it as love because of the hatred that you're trying to subdue the feeling of love that you have inside of you. But actually, if you decide to open up your heart, you discover that the love inside. So
that's actually very true.
Yeah. So we are still on the first phase of getting into a relationship, and I have this question: like some people, those that are not in a relationship, basically, or maybe those that are currently in a relationship but are facing a challenge in the relationship. They believe that being in a relationship is meant to be enjoyed and not endured. So that's the mentality that most people have before getting into a relationship. So once they get into a relationship and they face a little bit of challenge, or when they just see a challenge coming, they want to run out of it and say that no, this man is not meant for me, or this relationship cannot work out. It's like suffering or it's enduring. So what can you say about it? Is relationship meant to be enjoyed throughout, like how the both that is just meant to be enjoyed, or are there some challenging moments that comes along with in a relationship?
Now, what I would say about that is relationship has its up and down. I started by saying that there's nothing that exists like a perfect relationship.
Yeah.
Now, what do I mean? Meaning, when you get into the relationship, you will receive shit and you will see shit. And when you see shit, be ready to accept it because you accepted in getting into a relationship.
That's it.
Now, when you're getting into a relationship with somebody, you have to learn how to love his negative part more than his positive part. Okay? It's difficult, okay, but you have to learn how to love those parts of him that he needs improvement, because that's where you come in. Okay? Now, remember, it's two imperfect people coming together. For example, okay, your wife is from Bayangi, for example, and you're from, like, for example, the West region. Okay, then you guys are coming to coexist, to live together, to be to learn how to accept each other. Of course, he's coming from a background that have totally different ideologies, okay, and ways of beliefs, okay, and characteristics. Just as you are coming to a background or an environment with your own ideologies and your own belief. So you don't believe to just come and start tolerating each other. Of course, it will take a lot of times to walk into the relationship. Okay, a lot of things. You have to be able to walk out your relationship to be exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Okay. As for men, you have to learn how to cultivate that lady. Okay. Yeah. Remember when God created man, and after creating woman, okay. Now God says cultivate the garden. Okay. Now when God was talking about the garden, he was not focusing only on the garden. He was saying, after, when you know how to work on this, I'm giving you another work which is more difficult than the garden. You have to bring out the best in that particular work. So as you get into a relationship, be willing and able to accept the excesses of your partners and their weaknesses. Okay, because it's very, very important. This is where the problems comes from. Okay, from weaknesses and their excesses. Okay, remember, you're loving the man not because of what the man is or have, but who the man is. It's very, very important. Now, when we're talking about the who, mean that we are talking about his personality. Okay, how he behaves, his characteristic, what he likes and what he dislikes. You're getting into a relationship with those characteristics that engulf who he is. So it's very, very important. Okay, so to know that you will always face challenges. And the beautiful thing about these challenges is that it makes you guys grow stronger, because it helps you guys to be able to understand each other and help manage each other. So it's very, very important. You will face challenges. So if you are not ready to face any challenge, don't get into any relationship.
So basically, you need to, like what he said, you need to have a mindset of being flexible. You come from this background and he comes from another background. So you have to be flexible to change. Like, there are some things that you need to sacrifice for another person. There are some things that he needs to sacrifice for you. So you have to be very flexible to be able to manage that relationship for it to work. If you're stunted, like, he's the bride, you are the bride and he's the groom, meaning that there are some places that he might need to groom you to the way that he wants you to be. Likewise, there are some things that you might need to propose or bring it up for him that you need him to be able to change from. Though it's not a must, it's not like you're forcing him, but it's understanding each other and wanting the relationship to work. It's imperfect people coming together to make it perfect, like he's saying.
Yeah, right?
Right?
So, and the person, okay, whether be it the male or the female gender, should also be willing to learn.
Exactly.
Okay, they should be
they
should have that willingness to be taught. Okay, they should have that ability and capabilities. Okay, and the capacity to want to know their partner more.
Exactly.
So it's very, very
if that
important.
willingness is not there, you feel it as a burden. Like, if you see it as imposition, and it's going to be way more like a burden to you. You feel like the relationship is boring, or it's a burden, or it's enduring. Yeah, like they are seizing your life from you. But if there's a willingness there, you do it willingly and you enjoy doing it. because you want it to work, because you enjoy your partner's happiness and also they enjoy your own happiness. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying the show. And due to time, Chief Donald is leaving some clients waiting, so we have taken a lot of his time. Thank you so much, Chief Donald.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
I really appreciate your time being here.
It's
an
really
amazing session. We were blessed, and I believe my fans out there also, they really learned a lot from the show of today. And guys, we are going to have more of this session coming up. Due to time, we will cut it short for now. I believe we have covered a lot on getting into a relationship, and moving forward, we are going to be talking about everything it takes to keep a relationship and why not making your marriage work. So if you're still interested in the show, please don't miss out for next week. We will continue the session with maybe hopefully Chief Donald will be chance to come around. If not, we will be inviting another special people visiting this platform to bless us when it comes to matters of the heart. So what else do you have to say to my fans before you leave? Do you want to say something?
I have said a lot already, and as she rightfully said, I have some clients waiting for me, and it's not going to be the last time you're going to be seeing me on the show.
Amazing.
Definitely, I'm looking forward for her invitation again.
Definitely, we will invite you. So thank you all for watching for today's session. If you have any question for today's session or for the subsequent session coming ahead, please do feel free to leave it in the comment section. I will be there to answer all your questions, and likewise Chief Donald will be there also to respond to any questions that you have for him. And if you don't have any question, then very well, I believe you have understood everything about the session of today. Please go ahead to share this video and do well to like, comment, and share with your loved ones that you have. We love you all. See you in the next video.